Mhm. All right. Hello, hello, and welcome to the Collins on the Rocks podcast. I'm your host, Collins, and this week we have a blast from my past, a writer that is making waves. We have Johnny as my guest today. Hi.
Hey Collins,
How's it going?
it's going pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm good. It is Tuesday afternoon. I just signed off of work and I'm so stoked to be talking to you. As mentioned, you're kind of a writer, but we met each other 9 years ago.
Oh, I don't want to date it. I don't want to think about that. It's for me. I just think it's like because we met when I was in the Navy, and I think since I've
Yeah.
been out, it's been like I've learned a lot and reflected a bunch. I think
Yeah.
I'll talk about it a
I
little
think we're
bit.
very different people from
Oh, for sure.
them. And we both are married to different people. We're not married to each other. That's weird. But I mean not we I am who I
I
am.
got you. Yeah.
You got-
It's like I phrased it a specific way. It's actually phrased a different way.
It is phrased, yes. So if you have any questions while we're having our little discussion, are you drinking anything tonight? This
I am
afternoon?
actually having a cask beer. It's a Korean brand. I just drink basic Korean beers.
Korean beers. Okay. We have Zach Minger in the chat, always ready to say today is National Christmas Movie Marathon Day. Before we jump into anything, Johnny, do you have a favorite Christmas movie?
Oh, without a doubt, the Muppet Christmas Carol. I have it
Yes.
on cassette because the Disney Plus version removed "The Love Is Gone," like the saddest song, and like it's too
What?
impactful to take out. Because I grew up on that one.
Yeah.
I remember distinctly every time the Marley and Marley came out, I would hide behind the couch because it was
Because
too
they're
scary.
scary.
Like the Ghost of Future, like the future ghost was not nothing, but like those two guys was horrifying. I just got Gremlins in the mail. I got that on cassette. We're probably gonna watch that later.
Okay. It's hard because here's the thing. There are a lot of Christmas movies that are like, that is obviously a Christmas movie. Love Actually, Muppet Christmas Carol, A Christmas Story, It's a Wonderful Life. Like these are all like centered around
Distinctly Christmas,
Christmas.
you know.
But then people try to interject like Die Hard.
See, I get the
I-
idea because at this point we've had the internet conversation so many times that I think
yeah.
one, we're millennials especially are super irony poisoned. So it's like it used to be like a fun conversation, but now it's just like, oh, you think that you're a dumbass? It's like we're just having fun. Like it's supposed to like let's think about the movies we all enjoy, right?
Yeah.
Just like someone's like a Christmas Story's not even that good. And it's like I understand how you feel if for whatever reason your uncle put it on every year on TBS for the marathon, but it's still
Right.
a good movie. I'm just sorry that you've watched it ad nauseum. That's not the movie's fault. It's whoever signed
True.
TBS like said, "Hey Turner, just go ahead and play this movie for 24 hours." That's a them problem. It's a good movie.
It is. I do think it is a good movie. It's a classic movie. It's really, I think, the standard of what a good action movie is. Again, we grew up in a very similar era, um, where we were just talking before we went live about how you could really define where you are in the millennium and all of that based on technology, because our relationship with technology is very different. My favorite person is in the chat, Mrs. Pluggo. Love you. How are the kitties? Hope you're doing well. What is your relationship with technology these days?
I've been making strides to stop using my phone for absolutely everything. It's
Isn't that like the millennial's dream is to like go back to a flip phone?
and because exactly we have a distinct recollection of time before the smartphone. Like
Right.
I only got my first cell phone because I was the fourth family member on a family plan, and my parents got a free phone from Sprint. They're like, "Here's a flip phone, dork," and I was like, "Cool, I have my own cell phone." They're like, but don't make calls before 9 p.m. unless they're Sprint. Like free nights and weekends. It was like you could just say that
Yeah.
without context, and millennials be like, "Free nights and weekends." Like you remember that
Yeah.
because you had to do like, or you can only text, "Hey, are you in Verizon or Sprint?" Because I can't text
Yeah.
you on Verizon. I can't just text you for free.
Or
It costs per text.
AT&T. Yeah.
Because the relationship to how data works is It's actually like the pillar of a kind of a economic evaluation of where we're at. Because we're not really in capitalism anymore. If the longer you think about it, because it used to be what production was we're doing. It's like we're all doing subscription services. The biggest
Mhm.
companies on earth don't really make stuff. Like Amazon doesn't make anything. They're not a marketplace, right? Capitalism used to be like marketplaces. Now they're just like go to our platform and use our thing to buy the stuff. Everything we do for interfacing, like money, because who goes out the house, right?
Mhm.
The millennial dream growing up is like, I'll never leave the house and do everything off of like off the internet, and we kind of can
Right.
now. And so instead of it being a capitalist game, is like the who's got their stake of the cloud first, like who's got their bigger chunk. Because like Uber doesn't actually own the taxis, the people do.
Yeah.
There's like we make money doing nothing new. We just have algorithms, and so it's whoever has the better algorithm is like making the more money. Like we're in a completely different place now. So like we've seen technology literally help. So like capitalism helped advance technology, and then
Yeah.
technology dug its grave. So now we're moving into this weird. We don't own anything anymore, and
Yeah.
the algorithm is owned by like people own this algorithm, and it's tweaking like, hey, like it's our feeds. So the things we see more often, the things we want, like it's trying to rewire our brains. And they didn't have them capitalism, they didn't have them feudalism. Like the people making the money own algorithms, and they're like, oh, how can we make you more angry because that drives more
Right.
clicks. And like TikTok's a really good one, right? Like they know exactly how many swipes. All right, let's put an ad for an MF Doom sweater. I'm like, well, I'm gonna probably check that out because
Mhm.
you know enough about me to show that to me, right? So
You're
like
right. You
TikTok
know,
is like it's
yeah, they
got
know me
the
more than I
perfect
know
footprint
myself.
to
Yeah.
to not only make money off of us, but put into our minds ways that we should pay them more. And this is all by using our data that we don't get paid for, right? Like no one asked me, hey, fill out the survey so we can give you better ads.
Yeah.
Because at least at the very least, if you're gonna like extract my data this heavily, like cut me a check. Like if I got
Yeah.
like $5 for every data's that they used, then yeah, maybe I wouldn't mind so much as like they're gonna use it anyway, so at least like throw me a bone here.
That's why when anyone is like, "Oh, I don't wanna sign up for this, email subscription," or, when I used to work in retail, people would be like, I'm not gonna sign up for this American Eagle membership, whatever, because I don't want you to have my data." It's like, well, actually, every we know where you are now. Location services has everything. If you have ever checked into any place and put it on Facebook that you saw a movie or you shop here, they know how to market to you. And
We have a tracking device in our pockets now. It's
oh,
it
I
and it's
want to
because
throw my phone away.
I think about it all the time. Because what I did, I was like, I got because I've always liked older stuff. Like
Yeah.
always get my tube TV because I play Smash, I play Melee. I guess I play the Project M more importantly. It's like one of the things I love about this area. Like they still have like the player base, and so it's like that's the first community I made out here.
Hmm.
Um, and so for example, like we used to find tube TVs, like people were literally throwing them away. Now there's like the weird vintage market. Everyone's like, oh, look, buy your cassette and VCR, and like they're trying to make sets out of it and like sell it for a lot more money. And that's like within a decade turnaround. Because I used to just pick up extra tube TVs and give it to the tournament organizers so we'd have more setups. But now like that's specialized, and you're seeing it. Even like audio cassettes are coming back.
Hmm.
There's a little bookshop near me, Hex off of 522,
Okay.
and I like he has cassettes, and so like I bought Power Slave by Iron Maiden on cassette, like the old mint, because I have a little cassette player. So like instead of listening to
That's
Spotify, like I cancel my
so
Spotify.
adorable.
It's like it's like because you used to have to curate music, right? The way
Yeah.
we because you remember burning CDs, like you had to sit there and think, oh, so and so she likes Britney, she likes Madonna. So let me put these songs on there specifically, right? I'll sneak in a Danity Kane, she might like that one, right? Or am I sneaking a Whitney Houston or something? Like you
Yeah.
could put in thought, but now it's just like, oh, here's a playlist, and you're lucky if your friend listens to it because we've curated music for ourselves. It's
Yeah.
it's just like society. We're atomized and isolated. It used to be like a collective, communal. Here's a CD, and then you trade the CD back. But now it's like oh, this is just me listening to music passively as I do other stuff. We used to like make an event of listening to our records and our CDs, right? Because now it's like on release day. Release day is nowhere near the same. Like I know people are probably excited for Sabrina Carpenter or whatever this year, But you used to have to go to the store, and people would
Yeah.
wait in line for
Wait in
CDs
line,
and for records. And it's like, because it used to be,
pre-order them if you could,
it's
and
like
it would show up at the store.
it's like how we're saying, like there's like errors of stuff. Like the internet used to be a place. You had to go to your computer somewhere in the house, log on, and everything else you had to go physically in place. And so now that stores and everything are online, like you just have your phone open, you're like, oh, I can preload the new Creator album coming out next month or the new rap album coming out, have it
Mhm.
pre-downloaded. So the day of, I might not even remember, but I open up Spotify, it's just magically there. And we lost because you would bump elbows with somebody waiting for Gears of War 3 at Best Buy. And for all you know, like, well, you're playing Gears, I'm playing Gears of War. We should trade gamer tags. Like that doesn't happen anymore because it's all
Yeah.
online. And the
Mhm.
last thing you want to do is continue talking to someone you met in a comment section, because that's not how the internet works. You only end up in a comment section because you're pissed the hell off because that's how
Oh my
algorithm works.
gosh.
You're only
Yeah.
because the biggest, because I'm always like, I'm trying to get off the apps. I'm on Facebook still, and I'll see a reel and it's like, my grandma taught me this trick, and it's the most head ass shit you've ever seen in your life. And you're like, because it's like she knows what she's doing. It's like, this is the most
Right.
useless trick because someone's like, your grandma taught you that. It's like, that's just gonna boom, free engagement, and that's
Mhm.
what, once again, the algorithm incentivizes. And now we have these dopamine cortisol loops. You get pissed off, and then you cuss somebody out, leave them an angry remote, and they got free dopamine. You're like, yippee, and you just keep doing that.
Yeah.
I heard it just today. Like, if you open an app and you don't know why, just close it immediately. Like, only open an app if you know why you're going in. I caught myself like 3 times afterwards. I'm like, yo.
I
And it's
do
just
that
like,
all the time.
as soon as you're aware, like, hey, I'm using my phone too much, or hey, I'm doing this, that's the
Yeah.
first step. Like, we're not gonna change overnight. And I always tell people, I'm like, the best thing I did after in the Navy, because I would go to bed every night, and if you want to watch a movie or something, well, you could watch it in the lounge, but you have to share with everybody, or you just go to your
Mhm.
rack, use the Wi-Fi, and then watch something on your phone. So I had a ton of phone use in my bed.
Mm.
And so as soon as I got out, I'm like, if I want good sleep hygiene, like, don't drink right before you go to bed. Don't like load up on like whatever. It's like the biggest one was like, hey, don't use your phone in bed. So
Mhm.
whenever possible, like, I don't leave a charger near my bed because that's really a good, easy way to do that. And even now, like, if my alarm goes off because I have to wake up for
I
work,
was about to say, do
I'm
you
not
have
just staring at
a
my phone.
physical alarm clock?
I've been on the fence about picking one up, like just going to Goodwill or something, because just like how I bought like a cassette player or
Mhm.
I have like the VCRs, like let me find ways to be off my phone. Another one besides, because like that's one thing with like playing Melee or specifically Smash Project M. It's like you have
Mhm.
to play with other people. Like there is like online equivalents, like you can play whatever, but being at the same setup with someone, this is a community, like a physical community. Like I know these people, I've known them. Some of them are
Mhm.
newer even, but it's like we have to physically be there. The next season of Seattle Mahjong Club, I want to be in person. Because it's an opportunity to like play a game physically. So you can play Mahjong Soul online, right? That's totally a thing. But actually, like flipping tiles with another human being is an enriching experience. And
Hmm.
there's so many, especially in our area, just like going to another castle, like either the Barcades. I think the Marysville one, Edmonds is the closest one to me, and then the Bremerton one. You can just like play pinball and like be with other people, and there's like finding the things near you to be around other people. Is like, because it's so much easier to be on the phone, right?
Mhm.
Just like it's easier to drive everywhere, but it's like, hey, if I can take a bus there, and then while I'm on the bus, like read a book instead of just staring at my phone, like just you have to like give yourself the opportunity to like not do the right thing, but do what you want to do. It's like I aspire to attend. Like our attention wasn't like we didn't lose our attention spans. Like this was systematically taken away from us. Like if you ever watch Mad Men, that's just a documentary about how the neoliberal orders kind of like shaped our minds, because
Right.
they're like, how do we make you think this thing and then you accept that reality? And with especially with technology, like every single thing's been like it demands your attention. The because you've used the internet on a phone before, smartphones. You remember, like
Mhm.
you go into FML or whatever, like you hit the end of a web
Oh
page
my god.
and you have to click next page, because
Oh my
scrolling, endless
god.
scrolling itself is a
Yeah.
mechanism where like because you continually anticipate, right? And dopamine is is the anticipation. That's where that's
Mm.
coming from. So when you like hit the bottom of a page, you're like, I've read enough of my life as average today. I can close out. Like we used to hit that point, because I think
Mhm.
Vine was the same way. Like you get to the end of the Vine and you're like, oh, that's all the Vines I have for today. So they're like, how can we make that not happen? And just like we're giving data to data, like it's techno serfdom, by the way. Um,
Right.
us putting stuff on TikTok, on YouTube, YouTube gives us a cut with the pie, but they're making the money, right? Or TikTok's giving us like a cut, but they're still making the bulk of the cash on it, right? So it's like,
Right.
here's our content, and if you're so great, oh Lord, would you give a humble serf but a crumb, but 25 cents of ad revenue, me Lord? You know, like that's what we're reduced to. But we all understand, like, hey, if you get good SEO, you have good hashtags, like we're learning how to deal with the algorithm. Like
Yeah.
we know, hey, if we talk at these speeds, if we're hitting the camera angles, like we're shaping the algorithm shapes us. It's Marx's structure and base, but it's slightly different now via algorithm. That's like why if anyone wants to like read a book that's super dense but really good, is Techno Feudalism, What Killed Capitalism. Because it's just like, here's how we got here. It's like people have great questions. Like I saw someone complaining, like, why don't we have high speed rail in Texas? I'm like, there's an answer. It's Southwest Airlines. Like there's answers to these things, but
Oh.
we forgot how to look up things because we used to have to Google stuff, and we used to use like Wikipedia like an almanac because we grew up with actual almanacs.
Yeah.
So we had to learn how to look for stuff, and that's still a skill we use even now. Like people, because someone like us, we'll sit down and Google a thing, and you'll look at, oh, that's not a good one, because we still have that media literacy from high school. But nowadays, people just like, oh, I'm just gonna ask ChatGPT. You're like, I can lie to you for free, bro. Like, don't ask. Like, and I
Well,
won't
there's
waste 3
the
water bottles worth of to
yeah,
do
there's
it. Like,
that
I'll lie to
girl
you.
who wrote that essay or whatever that referenced the Bible without referencing it, and the TA gave her a 0 at was it University of Oklahoma or Oklahoma University. I can't remember. I just know it's Oklahoma, and I just think it's so interesting seeing people defend even her essay. But if you have ever read anything or have you written a paper or if you've ever cited sources or know like the general rule of thumb of this is the prompt and this is how I can respond to it, they would know that that essay is trash. But it has been so radicalized and it's been so grifted into MAGA territory, so to speak, which for the record, this is not a political podcast, but it is in the same realm of I don't think that people of the generation that are in high school or in college were ever really taught how, because they don't even know how to type. They type everything on their phone. They don't know how to type on a computer. They don't know how to write resumes. When I've seen them come in for interviews, they don't know how to ask questions in their interviews. They don't know how to present themselves or how to dress or be in a corporate setting, which I hate being in a corporate setting. But it's the thing of there is that disconnect of how do you function in society, and not being reliant on information being literally fed to you, you know?
It's an era of sycophancy where the education system,
Sycophancy. That's
it's been like dismantled brick by brick since the Nixon administration, right? It was one of Nixon's advisors saying the most dangerous thing that can happen to America is having an educated proletariat. Like there's so everything good that happens in school is despite the system, because at the end of the day, this is the Prussian model. We haven't updated it much since Prussia, and for those in the audience, it's not a place anymore. It's like Poland and Germany now.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, because their idea was, hey, you send the people that will be your soldiers and teach them like everything they got to know so that they can think for themselves as a soldier. And it's a banking model where it's like, this child will walk into school, I will dump all these things into their brain, and if they can regurgitate it to me, they are smart. And that system is kind of what's been in place. And so you have something like Harvard get established in the United States. They're trying to change the game. Like, how can we give people an opportunity that's not like, oh, because only aristocracy or nobility would go to higher education, right?
Right.
Like instead of that, like how can we make it so we'll do meritocracy so people that earn it. But as you and I understand it, right? So like think about the valedictorians in your high school, like that super competitive, like all they did was like grind school. That's what they want at Ivy League. And then if you happen to make it there, the meritocracy treadmill hits you even harder. And so you have like these kids, like if they can survive addiction, depression, because like all these things will drive you nuts, drive you up a wall, right? Like because you're giving up sleep, you're in half a dozen extracurriculars so you can stand up care to the other people, right? And so it's like this drive, like that's that baseline anxiety we have, like that anxiety to strive and be the best. Where it's like we're not given a chance to fail in the banking model for education, right? So it's like
Yeah.
if you miss a test, like oh, you're gonna fall behind. But when we fail in real life, it's like, hey, here's what went wrong. Let's try it again, and we learn from that because mistakes should be an opportunity to learn, not uh like it's not my fault. I made a mistake. It's like I tried. Is anything like, hey, you should be rewarded for trying. And that's getting into like kind of pedagogy, which is like I've been reading a book and it's kicking my butt. But it's just
Yeah.
like if we have a problem solving method, like here's because that's how we learn. It's like I got a problem. What tools are available to me? And you
Hmm.
find an expert. Hey, what tools would you use for this? And they're like, well, I would try this. Let's look at it together. And it's such a normal way to learn, but the school system is made to get people ready for a post-industrial society. Because it used to be like a, hey, how do we get you ready to be in the industrial environment?
Right.
Why do you think children are put in schools for 8 hours straight? That's not because it's to take a child away from their family at a very young age.
Yeah.
It's gonna mess. Because think about intergenerational trauma at school, like because all it's inherently
Oh.
traumatic experience to be ripped away from
Oh.
your parents, right? And
Yeah.
so it's like, why do you think the older kids bully the younger kids? Because they were bullied. It's like every generation is just gonna keep the shit rolls downhill.
Yeah.
And it takes like one kid standing up and then kind of stops, but then they get older and then it starts all over again because we're just continuing a cycle of like, let's put you in an unnatural environment for hours on end and then blame you for not succeeding. And the kids that do succeed, all the overachievers, they're burning the candle at both ends, right? Like, as they say, if you're a pleasure to have in class, how are you doing? How are your therapy bills?
That's too relatable. That's too
Because
relatable.
especially like the autistics and ADHDs, like you saw all the patterns. You're like, the logical conclusion is, I will continue until I can no longer continue. Because you
Right.
think my 100% is me pushing the machine that is my body until breaking,
Hmm.
right? Because a machine will break. Humans can keep going past a breaking point, right? And
Would rather not.
it's and tell them like, hey, it's a turn. Like if we knew it was a turn of phrase, I feel like the autistic kids wouldn't burn out because it's like, oh, like hey, you try like now you get to rest because I mean you get to rest and then renew your strength and then go back at it. But it's like I just pushed through 9 months of like senior year in high school to like get whatever you want to be, right? Um, because it's not a natural way to live to like push yourself like that. So like we were like meant to enjoy like nature. You hunt and gathered. Like we still have like the Paleolithic brains, right? That's why like if you're in a situation you get like super scared, it's like I'm
Yeah.
not gonna get eaten by a panther right now, but your heart thinks so because the cortisol and all that stuff like that's made for you to fight or fly was like we're so far past that, and we forgot we're technology is like so far outpaced like how we've developed like as people, and we forget about that stuff. Like we forget about the not as material world. Like we have to
Right.
get in tune with that part of humanity.
I relate to that so much because obviously I'm on the spectrum and I'm neurospicy and all the things. And I definitely was a pleasure to have in class, always excited to come to class, always has something to say. And I I truly think because our generation really saw like school shootings, 9/11, all these other, wars that are going on, the stock market crash, people buying houses and then people losing houses, and a lot of trauma happened in a lot of our formative years that it was kind of assumed, pick yourself up, just go, just continue. And I personally have been going to therapy and really realizing that there are whole pieces of my childhood that I've put in little compartments, duct taped, and written on them, do not open. And I have all of those memories are gone because my brain is trying to protect me from that trauma. Uh, but as we're trying to figure out why do I cry every time that someone raises their voice, or why do I get super emotional when I'm watching a love story and people are being intimate and I never feel like I can achieve intimacy with someone, it's all related to trauma. and things that we have to push down to, I don't know, to not stop and to continue. Um,
Yeah, because if the main goal in society is to like make the most profit, like these things can be prioritized. Like that's why we see mental health for a long time was like people would get to a certain point and then you kind of like peter out because it's like
yeah.
we have a pretty good material analysis, and I think even nothing like despite it, but like cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavior therapy, like there are I think good things to do in it, but it's like at a certain point, um this might be a hot take. Like you graduate the therapy when you're like, wow, all of my problems are structural. Like all of these things are like a
Yeah.
structural issue that's affecting me. But ultimately, I think it's like you should all do therapy because like just talking about stuff, like you'll like just vent about your day and like, oh, by me walking through that, I realized this is where an old pattern popped up. Like this is I know this is an irrational thing to say, and I probably shouldn't have said it. Let me like just stepping through that thing's really good. That's like what I do nowadays. Like I'm not necessarily working through stuff. Is like just that day, like, hey, this past week, this is what happened, and then you talk through, you're like, oh, that was down there. Cause like writing an essay. Until you sit down to like put pen to paper, you're like the
Yeah.
ideas are there, like they're just like floating, but like you synthesize something, you're like, oh, I actually put words to it. And same thing with like just even talking, right? Having exchanges with people. And that's why therapy is because like it reminds us of like when things were more communal, when you had a group of people
Hmm.
that you can talk to openly. Because we're so atomized, we have I always try to impart that we're living in the Protestant world, like even if you're raised in it or not, it's because the American hegemony, like the country is built by the Protestant weirdos that left England, right? So it's like
Right.
the work ethic, Calvinist, the predestination paradox, like that has anxiety and stuff that comes with it, like that internalized shame, that guilt, and all that stuff. So it's like if that's just your baseline, right? Like because we're a quote Christian nation, like if that's what people like think of the ideal American is, like, oh well, that's inherently like a very stressful place to be because like you have to prove your piety. If you're not making enough money, like one, God doesn't love you, and two, it's your fault. Like all of those things, like
Yeah.
that pattern of thinking, whether or not you're in tune with that, like we have to reckon like, oh, this is like where the patriarchy, how this affects women, how it affects men, because that's the other things. Like I think like, oh, men ain't shit, people have to dunk on dudes. It's like that was like second wave feminism is like you can't uh fix love by with hate ultimately. So it's like one, it's like we have to recognize like how these structures hurt women, but then also it's like it's forcing men to live up to unnecessary unreal standards. Like I get a lot of weird like here's like you make your beard better ads, like currently like that's supposed to be masculine to have a full beard, right?
Beard.
But it's like
So your algorithm already knows you have a beard.
right. And what happens is like it's trying to have me live up to a standard of what men look like, and I had an amount of dysphoria when I was younger, insofar there's like I don't feel that way, and I got older, I'm like, oh, this is what society thinks a man is. I don't feel that, but I
Mm,
know I'm a man. That's kind of like how I circled back around. It's like I feel because I'm a cis man, yes, but it's like I had this dysphoria because this was society kept presenting. This is what men do. This is what men are, and it just
mhm.
didn't click for me. Like that just seems weird, right?
Yeah.
Because my mom immigrated to the States, but my dad was born in uh Great Lakes. So it's
Okay.
like I have like a split perspective. Like I see how his upbringing as a children of immigrants versus an immigrant, right? Just like how we saw like our experience with technology versus like our younger cousins or like them.
Right.
Like my oldest nephew was born in 2000, so he's like right at the line of after Google, after the millennium. To see him like as a grown ass man, like we see how those differences manifest. And my especially in South America, so like I'm from Colombia or even in Puerto Rico, my grandma drives the bus, and I saw a
Mhm.
lot of strong matriarchs in my life, and so
Yeah.
then like my parents would like have that perspective, and like hear stuff from the church. I'm like, those don't necessarily mesh. 'Cause, like my parents as
Yeah.
ministers, like my mom negotiated for them to work together, and she was
Yeah.
always the one like advocating for them. Like she once again, she knew that on paper it'd be under my dad and all that stuff, but she was the one leading that charge, pushing for those conversations. And so as a child, I'm like, oh, women are strong and women can lead and all these things. Then I see like culturally the opposite, and there's just a lot of dissonance. So even growing up like in a relatively conservative area, especially in the Navy, where the day just came, I'm like,
Oh.
how did I end up here? And it's like,
Yeah.
and what happens is
Yeah.
people take the path of least resistance their whole lives because
Mhm.
we're reactionary at the end of the day. Evolution is what's the most it can or what's the list I can do with and still survive. So it
Yeah.
makes sense. I was like, if I can just like kind of chill, and that's what ultimately what society wants you to do. It's like you get your level of comfort, and then you just coast for the rest of your life, and that lets the system perpetuate. And so I was like, if I'm never like thinking like, how did I get here? So I
Right.
started asking myself really hard questions. I remember there's stuff we talked about when I had first met, and then eventually was like, huh, was I an asshole? It's like learning like because especially with because we saw the loss of like third places and like where
Yeah.
people can hang out, and that's one of the few things. Like once again, fuck a youth group or whatever, but it was still like an opportunity to talk to people my age. And a lot of those
Yeah.
people, even if they're not in church anymore, we're still really good friends. It's
Yeah.
because you spend time with somebody and just like not staring at a phone or whatever. It's the damn phones, but it's finally like us like being around other people,
Yeah.
and it's like, how do you meet people anymore? It's like you met in a dating app because there's no way to meet people anymore. Because if I
I
go to like
mean,
Unicorn or
that's how
something
we
to like
met.
try to meet somebody, it's like, oh, I'm at this like really loud bar. It's like you're not meeting anybody in a bar because you go
Yeah.
there with your friends, like you go in with a plan or whatever, right? It's like because there's nowhere to meet people, so that's what I'm like trying to find. Um, like I said, when the barcade has events or whatever, just like finding ways. Like just recently, I signed up for the Scarecrow Video membership because it's like the nonprofit, like largest video archivist in the United States. It's like I can support media because like once again, like I have like cassettes and all that stuff. It's like this is an opportunity for me to give back to the locality, and like we have to find ways to do that. Like finding the mahjong club, like it's a hike or whatever, but if I want to be connected to people, it's a everybody wants to live in the village, but no one wants to be a villager, right? Like it's going to take us sacrificing a little bit of those creature comforts because we live in the
Yeah.
imperial core, and we like our sweet treats, and we've been incentivized from the system side who really want those things, right? We're the
Yeah.
first generation raised in consumerism, right? Like our parents saw it come up, like because my dad talks about it. He's like, I did Black Friday once for the half sister, like when she
Yeah.
was real small for the Cabbage Patch Kid. He's like, I've never seen the worst in humanity than that day, right? And he's just like, I will never do it
Yeah.
again. And so growing up, when it was me and my sister, like he had the first two, so he knew what he was doing at this point. So he's like, all right, so you two, he's like, I get all the presents by August, wrapped, put in the attic, put to the side, and it's done before Christmas
What?
Day. And because he's like,
Yeah.
why? Because like he saw through the consumers. Like it's like if you're not buying these things, you don't love your children, right? How many of
Yeah.
the cartoons like that you were raised on were just 30-minute ads for toys? It was like it was deregulated, and that's about the time like in the 80s, right, when all those uh Polly Pocket, right, or My Little Pony,
Well, that's the thing that we talk
Thundercats,
about on
Voltron, like all
the
of those, yeah.
yeah, that's the thing that we talk about on the Peak Millennials podcast, which I have with my friend Natalie, is that we talk about like specific toy, like they don't do commercials like they used to. Now they just do commercials on our phones. But how come we specifically all collectively had the same alarm clocks, the same lava lamps, the same Polly Pockets? Like there are specific Barbies that I remember having that other people also got. There wasn't like different variations of oh, I got this kind of dollar, I got this kind of thing. It was like we all kind of collectively have the same, you know, toys together. And now that's not universal. Now it's nobody goes to Toys R Us because Toys R Us doesn't exist anymore. There's no such thing as KB Toys anymore. We don't collectively all have our birthdays at Chuck E. Cheese.
Right.
You know, I do miss that third place. But now they're seeing people are less and less drinking. So even having a local bar or local, you know, dive, so to speak, people aren't going there. They're doing things like trivia nights there and karaoke nights to get people into those locations, but people are still not drinking. They're doing a lot of sober curious, or, you know, what have you, which is good on its own, but where do people who don't want to drink go to hang out? Because I'm still looking for that spot.
It's the because it's kind of like how we saw the logical extremes or like the logical conclusions to like all these contradictions growing up, because the logical conclusion is
Mhm.
like everything's going to be monetized for property, right? So it's like it's all rent seeking behavior.
Yeah.
It's like if we can't get cash out of you, you're not allowed in here, and all the laws And the
Right.
culture is kind of like set up like, if you aren't a paying customer, you have no rights in this place. It's kind of like what it is like,
Mm.
we can't have parks. It's like, oh, we can have parks, and then the parks are have like all their very specific rules. Like you can go to like Cap Hill and stuff. There's like somewhat relatively open spaces, and I think Seattle's probably one of the few cities where it's kind of scrolling that back. We have to be pretty far in the city or in a very specific locale to really see that.
And
Because
unfortunately,
otherwise, yeah, we're like
oh,
grown as people going to a park to like where the thing is
right.
like just like the very few places like, but people don't want to do that. It's like, well, that makes sense because like that's the only other place that the parents can go for free. That's like you
Yeah.
have to make these like decisions that are like that suck because there's just no incentive for people to make a spot for people to congregate.
Yeah. And unfortunately, if I just wander into a park and stand near a group of people, that's weird. I also don't know how to make friends, but that's also neither here nor there. But um what is interesting though, to sidetrack, because I knew I was gonna mention Heated Rivalry. Are you familiar with the show Heated Rivalry?
I am just barely, but I was probably gonna hop into it honestly and
You
do
should.
and watch it.
But there's this thing that because I get into the habit of watching these shows in bulk, right? So I have a streaming capability. I'm watching all of it, but I think what is really lost is that week to week yearning for the episode. You know what I mean? Like you watched an episode and then you're like, oh my God, I have to remember all these things as I go. Like I have 7 days to fester on this one episode. And I really like that. And that's what I'm really enjoying with Heated Rivalry. But knowing that this last episode, episode 5, 25 million people have seen this episode.
That's
That's a shit ton of people.
yeah.
Like, and
That's a
it's
small
on,
country.
yeah, like it's on Crave. And I don't know if, because I read
That's like
it in
Canadian
the,
Hulu, right?
yeah, it's Canadian Hulu basically. But I don't know if the Hollywood Reporter, which is where I read this, if they're counting Crave or if it's in general. But what they had said is that HBO collectively, I guess there's 72 hours of how many people have watched a streamed show because not everybody tunes in at exactly the same time. But it's how many people have watched it in a 72-hour period, and 25 million people watch that one episode, not counting people like myself who have rewatched it over and over and over again, because I like to watch an episode, consume it, and then rewatch it. I do that with RuPaul's Drag Race. I do that with like, other episodic television shows. But it's a thing that I'm watching people get together and having watch parties. I love a watch party. I love watching something with somebody else because I love seeing other people's reaction to media or something that is collectively what I would say is, part of pop culture. I don't remember any time that responding this way to especially a queer piece of media, because hello, also being a person part of the community, seeing that represented. And it's not, I mean, it is kind of graphic, softcore porn, so to speak, but it's HBO. But collectively, like watching it and not being a joke, like that's also
Right.
like are you kidding me? And there are people in this country who are trying to make people like me and people like in the show feel isolated and alone and an other. And I just have seen such a celebration for it. And I feel like I'm part of something watching it concurrently week after week, which I haven't felt in a very long time. Which is probably why I can't stop talking about it, why I can't stop consuming it, why I can't stop having it be a part of every, piece of my life. Which is also kind of embarrassing because I am in my late 30s talking about a fucking TV show. Like it's my entire personality. And unfortunately, it kind of is. But
that's how I am with Babylon 5, and that show's way weirder and way older. So
oh, but weird is fun. Oh, I love it.
Like there hasn't been a cultural moment like this since because when Brokeback Mountain came out, it was kind of a cultural moment. Like the mainstream Hollywood was making a gay story where it wasn't like the butt of a joke. Was like Hello, Mrs. Wong or something like that movie, where it's just like it's
Mm,
taking like a queer perspective and it's like it's serious. And sure,
right.
like the casting is not 100% perfect, but like you look back, you're like, this was an incredible progressive piece, and like it does some good. And sometimes the best stuff is like slightly transgressive, but by being able to like make a movie at all, like sure they made mistakes, but they still put enough. Like look at these like drag women like doing something, and they
Yeah.
had the biggest hearts, and they were the ones to help everybody out, and they helped them in. Like that's a beautiful story. That's like, as it turns out, if you're in the shit, go find a queer brown woman, and she's probably going to be the first person to help you. As it turns out, right? Like that's just how, because like society's built on the back of black people and women. So how much more does that intersection carry that, right? A queer black woman threw the first brick, right?
Yes.
Like that's why intersectionality is so important, right? It's like anything like, hey, this specific group, you're like, let's not do slippery slopes and whataboutisms. You're like,
Right.
this language hurts people straight up. It's like if it's ever like a generalized group, right? It's like because like anytime someone starts talking like bad about furries, I'm not a furry, but they're like one or two sentences away from just saying something super bigoted. And so it's
Yeah.
like, do you not know that the amount of queer people, trans people, people of color that are all like furries, autistics is like, why it's like it's just like a way to translate your personality into something quirky, something fun. And there's like a whole group of people like, we found a way to do this, because it's not all that different from people that do LARPing. Like they get like their armor and stuff. Like it's kind of cool that there's more than one person that
Yeah.
wants to like wear armor and then hit each other with pool noodles. Like that's really neat. Like D&D players are the same ways. It's like there's like
Yeah. I was
it's
about to
really
say
easy to
D&D
marginalize a
play.
group if you don't have a conversation with them. It happens to everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like until you've had a conversation with it's like that's why the hate groups have to make such big broad strokes. Like there's probably someone in their life that falls in that group, and it's like because people are like, oh, how come the president, vice president, are what wives are not like white people, blah blah blah. It's like that's not the point. Like because they're like, oh, well, this person's the exception, right? Everyone's got like, oh, my one black friend. It's like everyone's got that. Or it's like what my favorite is like someone gets like in trouble on the internet. They're like, well, actually, I'm autistic, or they're like hype by some random things. Like you got to own your shit at the end of the day. It's like if you can't show
Yeah.
ownership, you're not maturing. Like you have to like, you know what? Because I said some stupid shit in my days, and I'm like, you know what? If I say that, and I hope I'm not that person anymore. I don't want to believe those things. It's like I'm trying to improve, and it's like Malcolm X says, like it's not enough for you to pull out the knife because the wound is still there. So like if you pull out the knife like an inch, why am I thanking you? The knife is still inside. Like once it's removed, we gotta bandage it, right? Like there has to be truth and reconciliation for lack of a better phrase. It's like
Hmm.
how's like, and that's like where a show like this is like, is this book in communication with the gay community? Is like, well, absolutely. It's like this is something that's like for a broader audience, and especially something like a hockey romance. It feels very specific, and in its specificity has its own universality to it. Like
Right.
all the anime that's like, there's an anime specifically about volleyball, but you'll watch an arc and you see those like familiarities, like, oh, this like striving is the same thing that I have in this part of my life. And it's really cool to have media that hits that kind of level of specificity. And like this the fact that streaming services are starting to do numbers, because for a while Nielsen ratings were very transparent. We knew exactly how many people were sitting their butts down to watch The Office or
Mm,
watch 30 Rock or Battlestar Galactica. But when it came
right.
to streaming, there wasn't a precedent set. And because once again, we have everyone is to sit down at this time if you want to catch Star Trek Enterprise. Like you had to be
Yeah.
sitting down at the stations, like they would have this many boxes watching versus, oh, this person's streaming. Are they actually watching it? Like I'm not gonna say a discussion about Netflix making movies specifically for people also playing on their phone, but
Yeah.
the whole, like they don't have to tell you how many people are watching. And so it's like how those metrics work, and their model was get a bunch of subscriptions, but eventually they hit like a number. So that's why it's like, all right, let's start switching the plans up. So they have to make tiers, because it turns
Yeah.
out subscription model will grow until it doesn't grow anymore. And so once again, with like a certain driver for business success, you can only do so much with the platform. And so that's why we see Netflix is buying everyone else up. Because it used to be like Netflix and Hulu was kind of its own thing, because Hulu started off as like a, oh, I missed my NBC show, but let me go watch the community real quick
Right.
because I forgot to watch
Hmm.
it. Um,
It was a lot of
because
like day after, right? So it was
right, because it was shown on
so
TV first. Because once again, like they're using TV as
yeah.
like, this is the success of a show, like the internet is just whatever. Like, because you and I remember Netflix as, why would I mail myself a Netflix when I could just go to
DVD.
Blockbuster? That's dumb as heck. Like, why on earth would I do that? And
Oh,
then Blockbuster missed out their chance to buy Netflix, and then Netflix turned streaming, and it changed the game. Just like when Steve Jobs showed the scroll on the phone, that
mhm,
changed that changed the course of technology forever. The hey, watch what you want subscription model, Netflix changed. Like that's so many things follow that model now. Porn follows that model now. Like
oh.
everyone's just like all the technologies will converge. It's
Yeah,
like the the endless scroll of iPhones, the subscription model, search pricing from Uber. They set that standard, and Instacart got caught by More Perfect Union, and then they stopped it. Like we're gonna have AI powered algorithm to do search pricing, right? Because they have all of our data already. I hate to tell you, they have all of our data, right? So that's what I'm saying. Especially in the book Techno Feudalism, he makes a point where it's like if this was like controlled by not a $1 billion corporation or a bunch of ghouls, like if you
mhm,
and I had a say, right, or like even like the workers of the tech companies, like as it turns out, most of them are living similar lives to us. Like there's a dog parent in there. There's a guy who has like 3 cats, and
mhm.
their studio apartment in Seattle is just nice enough because they get paid good. But if they ever lost that job, like my friend, he works at Amazon at a higher up tech level. He's like, it sucks, but the pay is really hecking good. And he's like,
Yeah.
who else would hire? Like, no one's hiring right now. And he's like, at a position, he's like, I'm just gonna duck my head and just keep working, right? But like, if they were making the shots, like, oh, we could have all the stuff delivered, like, because you could have like one guy do an entire route, because like that's what they do now, right? Like, if there's the same algorithm that makes Uber like pick up more than one person for ride shares, like 3 of us would ride in one vehicle. That's what Amazon's using to drop off more than one package on a route, right? It's effectively
Right.
the same algorithm. And so it's like, what if we had one ghost kitchen servicing this part of the city, and all of the people that couldn't leave their homes, like that were low mobility, or that like you get like one free voucher a week, and it's like the ghost kitchen would service this neighborhood, and they would know exactly who eats when because they know our habits, right? If people are using DoorDash and Grubhub enough, they know exactly when you're hungry. They know what you're going to eat. They know what you're in the mood for and when. And so it's like they have all this information about us. Like you could make an entire algorithm to deliver all the basic necessities in a neighborhood. Like you could have a guy that's like, I will drop off all the toilet paper and toiletries for this neighborhood from one Safeway. Like we have that technology, we have that infrastructure, we have that data, but it's just owned by ghouls. You know what I
I
mean? Like it's like
I
it's
hate that.
it's all there. Like all this exists. Like it's like that's why people are like more easily imagine the end of the world than the end of capitalism. And that's one
Mhm.
of the things where I write. It's like, at the very least, I want my stories to have a semblance of class consciousness. So in the Substacks that like those like short stories, at the very end of the day, it's like the in Forsaken, like this crew, like they're illiterate soldiers, everything's trying to kill them, but they have each other. There's like this illicit trust at the end of like there's no one thing that the one would do for another, and they have each other. Or in Ray Gunslinger's, like he's super alone in a future that's unfamiliar. Uh, he's from the past, and so it's like just a fish out of water. How do you reckon with a completely unknown world, and it's just him building relationships? It's him asking questions. Where it's like I could shoot first, ask questions later, get my paycheck, but he's like, is it worth just gunslinging just to make money? And it's like he has to make these really tough calls. And it's like that's how we should be. Where our first instinct should be, I would like to help. I'll have to sacrifice something, but I would still like to help. And you
Right.
have to put yourself out. It sucks because it's vulnerable. I had
Mhm.
an experiment that I was worried about for a few days, and actually circles back to being okay. I wrote 4 letters, like physical letters, to 3 neighbors and then the postal worker on my route. And I was like, "Hello, I'm trying to be more friendly. Like I've been in the same house for like almost 2 years, and I was like, I wish I would have hung out sooner or like said hello, but it's tough nowadays." And
Right.
to the effect of like, I wish we could have done something sooner. If you wanted to trade snacks or if you ever need anything, here's my phone number. And nobody got back to us for a few days of like, maybe it's the mail or whatever. But the postal worker's like, I would love to trade snacks. I'm like, all right, so we're leaving cookies for her. And then the other neighbors got back. It's like the people like right across the street were transplants also. And so
Yeah.
they're like, I'm also from somewhere else, like because I've been here since 2014. Her and her husband moved out here around 2014. They met each other here, and they've like we wanted to do something similar, but they're like life gets in the way. Like he had an injury, and she's like, we're just going about our life taking care of their dogs. and because you have to like leave your house and knock on someone's door. It's terrifying. We're so
It
atomized.
is.
We're so because it's not our fault that we have the attention spans we do and that we're isolated. It's the environment we're in. If you take a bunch of rats and you put them in a
Yeah.
big white box for a month,
Mhm.
it's terrible. It's like you put them in like in the woods, it's like, oh, this is the natural environment. Like you have to you have to have an environment worth like, and that's why as a writer, it's like I try to imagine a better future. It's like everything's
Yeah.
there, so I read a lot, and then I write the fiction because I have like glimpses like someone's got to imagine a better future because the the people of today aren't ready for that future.
Mm.
And it's like the Soviet Union, like they assumed like the generation after, and they're like, you guys will see communism, hooray, the glories, whatever. But it's like they have like we can set you up for whatever's coming next, but we'll build it and you get to live in. It's like, but who wants to like put themselves out for a future they don't get to see? You know, it's like, all right, hey, you get to drive the bus to and from the pearly gates. Like, do I get to go in? It's like, no, you die after you've driven the bus your whole life. Would you still drive the bus? It's like, if I'm driving everyone else there, it's like you have to be willing to make those decisions. You have to get out of your own box for like more than 10 minutes. And it's scary. But I traded cookies with the neighbor. And now she knows her and her husband know that if they ever need anything, they got my number and Nick's number. Like the two of us, like you just hit us up. And next door, they're two parents raising three kids in Seattle. You know how like Katie Wilson ran on.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is for a family to live in this area. I
Mhm.
know. My parents worked with children as long as they had me. I got to see my parents raise like thousands of children every week, you know, and I know exactly the range of the really really sweet kids to the holy crap, your parents have to deal with you ever, you know. And three
Yeah.
girls at their age is like in any environment's rough. Like I know how tough it is for four of us living in one house. I can't imagine five as a family. It's like it's tough. So if there's anything like we could ever do to help, like the bare minimum, and that's where it starts. It starts at a very immediate level. Like we don't ever need everyone to go turn into Luigi's, right? Like okay, like
Uh,
you'll have one person
uh.
do like like let's start with like let's just all like know our neighbors, right? Because when shit hits the fan, I who am I gonna call? My parents in Kansas? Like what the hell are they gonna
Yeah.
do? Or my home in Oklahoma? Okay, he's just worried about me. Versus hey, I can knock on hey, something's happening in the neighborhood, right? Like you if your pet got out, what are you gonna do? You don't know any of your neighbors? But if you do know your neighbors, like, oh hey, like one time our cat got lost, and we're like, we knock at the neighbors' doors, like, hey, the cat got loose, and they're like, hey, they know you and they might know your cat because you guys have had a conversation before, right? And that's what I mean. Like everybody wants to be in the village, but we're not village. We're outside of the village. We have to build our village.
See, and this is interesting because a lot of my following comes from the online sphere, especially with wrestling. And that's what a lot of my posts are. That's where a lot of my engagement comes from. Is it's all these weirdo freaks that love wrestling. That is, it's not. It's fake. People go, oh, you like it? It's fake. But we find storytelling through violence. And I mean, some of my best friends, one lives in Buffalo, one lives in Tampa, Florida. Like some of them live in Australia, and I love connecting with them, and I love using technology, and I think that technology can be a great tool. Um, but can I tell you, I went to Texas in July, and I met these people that I've been friends with on the internet, and I'm like, why is this like so natural? Like I know you people, but it's because people who are like us are our exact selves on the internet that we are in real life.
Right.
But if I've met anyone who's like more than 10 years younger than me, I'm like, what is this like Gen Z stare at me? Like what is there something on my face? Like what, you don't know how to have a conversation outside of your phone? You don't know how to look up something outside your phone? Come on. But I really do love my little space on the internet where I can be friends with people. Um, but it just makes me yearn for something more, you know?
I'm the same way because the Babylon 5 fan community is super small,
Mhm.
and I you know I'm queer because I was on Tumblr forever. and I found all the other gay B5 fans, and we have like this
Yeah.
queer Babylon 5 Discord, and it's just
Mhm.
us like it's like this like one of the safest corners of the internet for me. So it's like they're like we all are somewhere on the spectrum, and we're all queer, and it's like we all just like this old space opera,
Yeah.
right? And there's like people I met through. There's like if I ever ended up in Australia, I have a friend. It's like these are people that's like if they're ever in Seattle, like you call me right away. That's the other thing with Smash. It's a because people travel for events so often. There's like
Right.
this everyone knows in Project Plus or PM that Seattle PM will welcome you happily. Like Western Washington is like
Mhm.
known for like hospitality. When people come out, we want you to enjoy the city just as much as we want you to enjoy. Like I will go to a tournament like the day of. Like we had a group of players. They're both from the tri-state area out east, and I was like, I'm gonna take you guys to Dick's so you can get the cheeseburgers. You can make the joke, but also you get the cheeseburgers. And they're like,
Yeah.
everyone had it. I had a cup of coffee, and it's like it was just like a moment for us to bond over food, a shared culture, and just hang out. And one of those guys, they're like incredible, doing philosophical stuff in social work. And they sent me some bell hooks to read, and it's like, all right, let me give you some stuff to read. And it's like we had this super deep conversations. Like we met through an illegal modification of a children's party game. Like these like people because humans will find each other because you recognize the what's like the spark in someone else. You're like that's like when people get along. It's like once again we're so used to our like material reality, like especially from people that like I'm a scientist, right, or I'm an engineer type. So it's like I strictly like believe like what can be seen, but especially people that grew up in the church, like we understand there's like the spirituality and it
Mhm.
exists, right? Because think about a group of like 50 people all thinking the same thing. Like it's well, prayer is right. Everyone's focusing on the
Mhm.
same thing. If everyone's like doing that together, like you're gonna have that group energy, and there's that part of your brain that interacts with the greater oneness of the universe or whatever. And someone's gonna have an idea or whatever, and then they see it as like whatever through their faith, whatever. But there is power in like having a group of people like thinking about the same thing. That's just what a because it's thinking in science, right? Like you'd have like a panel, and they're all thinking intently about the same thing. And it's just like it might be like reskin or slightly different, but we understand that bringing people together, getting everybody on the same page, sharing energy. That's why I think it's funny growing up like with super fundamentalist people where they've never gone to a concert or something. It's like you
Mhm.
didn't feel the spirit of the Lord. You enjoyed music, right? Like, you go to a dubstep show and you're like, oh my god, it's the same
Oh
thing.
no, that's
Or
literally me.
like yeah, you love Hillsong United and you hear Coldplay for the first time. You're like, what? It's like
What?
they're just
It's the
they're just
same?
reskinning whatever's out there and just because as it turns out they're very good musicians. Just like
Yeah.
um the book of Psalms, like King David was actually a gifted poet. He kind of had to be to spin. I'm actually a mercenary that usurped your king, but he wrote down, no, no, no. I was actually good with God. Like God chose me to be your king, and we're homies because we're both poets. Like he had to kind of set that up at the end of the day, right? Like, we revere King David in
Yeah.
church, right? So like, so those can't be disputed. Like this is like a well written book. Another fun fact for the Bible thumpers, they never know. Like people think like a lot of scholars like there's like four parts of the Old Testament, but like the very early stuff. They're like Moses wrote this. There's no historical Moses, archaeological wise. Like they haven't found anything about Moses, but they think a woman wrote it because it's a familial comedy. Like the entire like first
But that doesn't fit
the
their
first story,
narrative.
it's like right, and it's because like before modernity, even before like probably as far back as the Protestant split, but I think the Pauline Christianity is very patriarchal. But
Mhm.
we used to be like a matriarchal egalitarian society before we started developing warlike states, and they more or less created patriarchy in like the Spartans or the steppes. And so it's like you had to divorce yourself from the feminines. That's why you see like what we see patriarchy now. Like all these antagonisms are just like trying to maintain a thing that's not the natural cause. Like why don't we have the 13-month calendar? I think I sent you that on Instagram, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
our calendar itself is patriarchal, right? A male pope was like, we're no longer going off of the moon, which makes sense. 13 times 28. Because what the fuck a leap year is? Like, whatever. But there's like, because the moon and like feminine energies and all stuff, like, this is what the world was before. And so, like, we have to, if you haven't looked up gynarchy at all, that's an entire like religion, like centering
Oh
women.
no.
It's very interesting. I don't know As much about it as I was like, that's kind of far down on my reading list. Was like things to read was like remembering what societies were before like today. Because once again, that's why like a lot of reactionary politics is like whatever came before today's got to be like. That's why you see the trad wives. That's why we see the a lot of that like pseudo fascism history was just like what the 50s used to be. It was like yeah, post war economy, but it's like those conditions existed for very different reasons. Can we imagine a better future? Because we'll just devolve into something else if we don't. Right, someone's got to drive the bus, right? And if you just like let it go on like autopilot to where it's going, we're just going to be a techno service for the rest of our lives. Where instead it's like, what societies can we develop? Like, what could it look like? And part of that is just dispensing patriarchy. Was like, because feminism was like they were all equal, like that inclusivity, right? Like the difference between like liberal identity politics, where it's like, oh, we need more girl boss war criminals, versus no, like just because you are from this historically marginalized group, you shouldn't continue having to suffer those after effects. And so it was like, how can we not just remove the knife but reconcile and heal the wound? I think that's all that to say. Let's have the 13-month calendar. Let's bring that back and just try that out a little bit.
Okay.
Add an extra zodiac. Fuck it.
Yeah, extra zodiac, extra everything. As long as like I'm all for anything changing. I would just love to live in a society like I don't know, France, where the entire month of August we don't have to work.
They used to, the bourgeois scientists used to, or economists used to think that like Keynesian economics, so you say that they once predicted stagflation, and two were saying with automation we'd be working 15 to 20-hour weeks. They thought we would be struggling to find work for people because they'd be like everyone has so much free time they could pursue their other leisures. And then you read any Lockean philosophy, which is more or less the template for American democracy or the republic, and they were saying we want to be trades workers so our sons can be artisans, that they could create art. And it's like, what happened to that founding father? It's like, oh, that's not as good. Like, because it's populism. If you have the displeasure of sitting through the entirety of a hillbilly elegy and actually reading it, you're like, man, this ghostwriter went off. Like, all you have to do is paint a good myth, and then people will follow you. Like, every movement in history has had a very charismatic leader, good for the better or for the worse, right? You see, like George Washington and all of them, very charismatic. You look at Napoleon Bonaparte, very charismatic. Joseph Stalin, very charismatic. Fidel Castro, very charismatic. Donald Trump honed his craft as a heel in the WWE. Full stop. People are like, why do they listen to us? Like, we've watched him as a TV personality. He knows how to entertain. He's always known that. And he's like, he's the heel. So people are like, why is he making this decision? It's like, it might be dementia. It might just be him playing the heel, because it doesn't matter. Like I'm not as familiar with wrestling. I've gotten to it like as I've been older. One of my friends, he's in Nebraska. His identity is Teddy Mercury. He's great. That's my friend Omar. But we have wrestling. I guess that's a perfect analogy. It's like that's American politics. Like the Democrats will have like their rotating villain. That's their heel. And if you funnel that energy, it's like, oh, this one person, we feel good that we're like getting to like yell at somebody, and then we feel like we've done something, right? People went to the one protest, like, I held up my sign, I've done my job. That's the end of it. It's like, no. It's like, all right, I'm gonna tell my child what to do, and you walk away. It's like, oh, you gotta help them do the thing, right? But anytime I was taught a chore growing up, I was like, hey, let's do it together.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, but because like we were doing the chores as a family. By the end of it, it was like we understood like everyone's got their place. And it's like you give people the tools to do stuff. You build those structures, and you create the environment you want to be in. It's like, I wish I was better at reading. Is like, it took me years to get here. Right after I got out of the Navy, I was like sitting around. I was like, I could have just like played video games all day. I did for a few months. I'm like, I'll just pick up a book. And it wasn't easy at first, but it's like your brain's elastic, fortunately. As long as we got the brains and the blood flowing, it's like the more you do a thing, the better you get at it, right? It's like, sure, the tech companies have found ways to hijack our brains and kind of like get us to do our loops, or you tap your phone. It didn't even go off, but you tap your phone just to check. It's like our brains are that wired. Like, but by the same measures, like if you like made a habit of like reading, like I gave myself like small goals. I was like, I want to read like 3 chapters of this book by the end of the week, and then eventually you read like that much in one sitting. You're like, oh, let me up it. And so then you kind of start building those habits, and you make yourself like if you want to do these things, right? So like because that's dopamine, that's anticipation. Like you want to continue reading the book, and I think sometimes it is uh, a lot of the stuff like we had to do in schools. Like when you don't do things out of obligation, it's so much more
Mm,
fun, right? It's like, and that's why I always say like the people that did really well in school like did great despite it, right? So like 'cause they're like, here's like the stuff you should study for a thing, that people like went out of the way to do it, and that's why you see a lot of people learning outside of school too, right?
hmm,
Because my mom dropped out in middle school, like she never finished school at all,
right.
but she's one of the smartest people I know, and that's one of those things where like I saw what we were taught, and she taught my sister and I. We were reading about like 2 or 3 years old, like we were really super young. Because she's like, I understand what I could have gotten for an education. So she's the fact that I didn't well at school is, I think, part of that was like her overcorrecting, and then me getting a little bit lucky because I think I was just like just good at some of the stuff. Um, but it's like that
Yeah.
generational like, just it's the human project. Like I might not be able to get there, and that's I think that thing that a lot of I hate to say just like natural Americans or like naturalized citizens were like see the immigrant drives, like they see as the human project or like their nationality, or like even if one of us doesn't, like if one of us makes it through, if even if it's not me, it's like, but they hold my memory. Like in West Africa, there's a living memory. It's like as long as like someone in your life that passed away, like you remember them, so they still live. And
Oh,
there's a lot
that's
of trauma in
beautiful.
living memory. There's a lot of memories that we hold as a group. Like my family going to the Ozarks, as like we all remember that in our own ways, and we can hold that with us as long as one of us is alive. That memory still lives, and because time's not
That's
linear.
beautiful.
Like we were just trying. Time's a colonial construct, just as anything else. Sleep is a political, right? We're supposed to like take a you fall asleep at sunset,
Hey.
wake up at midnight, do some stuff, and then take go to sleep, and then wake up again at dawn. Like we had the way we sleep now is very much from the Industrial Revolution. And once again, say because in living memory, none of us have slept like that. No one in living memory in American society uh predate, because like consumerism, like, once again, like, that's in living memory, right? Like we grew up under a consumer society, our parents didn't, and so then a couple generations from now is like all the structures will like have things effectively wiped out, right?
Hmm.
And so that's why you need those international communities. I think that's one of the beautiful contradictions of the internet, because it's connected us internationally. Where I talked to my friend Ryan in Australia, is like, what is going on over there? There's another guy, Joel, who lives in Australia. He's the same way. He's just like, he just watches American politics, like astounded, like, how do you guys like let this happen? It's
How
like,
are you guys doing
it's the
this?
frog in the
Yeah.
pot. It's like because it was just spoiling over the years, and we didn't have the international like connection, like that you can just ask somebody in Scotland, or you can find somebody
Right.
in a different state. Like when people find out how it is in Washington or even Seattle, like like after living in a flyover state, I was like, it's day and night. And it's like every single pocket of the world, like especially the United States, what the hell does Seattle have in common with even Spokane? Or like they're completely
Not a
different
lot.
biomes, right?
Yeah.
Because like we're just thinking about like in the borders and like the nation state ideal versus like where do these actual distinctions are. Like you look at the old like tribal maps, it's like the areas are usually like this is what has stuff in common. Like the entire rainforest was maintained by the indigenous peoples. Like
Hmm.
it took them it took the it took the white man a very long time to like, wow, the fires here used to be controlled. It's like you could have asked an indigenous person, asshole,
Ah!
but they had to do their science thing. They had to go do that, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
like spiritual beliefs that were different tribes would believe like we came from one animal or another, and they inherited like certain traits, and so they had this. Some tribes have an animistic view of the world. It's like we're all one greater like whole, and I hate to say it, but I think most white people feel that when they have a dog that they love in their life. Right? It's like we have, because like we had that connection because we're all living creatures, and so that's why like you see a cat and the cat's nice to you, or you see a bird and
Hmm.
the bird's like, you have a moment and the bird flies away. You're like, oh, that was a moment. It's like, yeah, because we're all life. It's
Yeah.
incredible, and we've just forgotten that because our world is so abstracted. Like it's very easy just to forget. It's just like go outside. Like people don't look up. I was like, the sky's beautiful here. We have mountains. We don't take the mountains or the trees. Like we can't take that for granted, because you go anywhere else, they don't have that. It's beautiful here,
You
and
know,
you gotta be
it's
in
very
touch with like
true.
the material world's taken away like from the natural world. Even it's like it's a material world we can actually see, but we're abstracted ideas into other material things that we've like got pulled away.
Right. Lots of interesting things to think about. We are over our hour.
Yeah.
um, I I was nervous that we wouldn't have a lot to say, but we definitely had a lot to say. We've covered a lot of ground. You're welcome to come on another time, and we can continue. What can we plug? Where can we find your writing? And where can we see you?
Yes, the Substack is Comrade Sheridan. The two ongoing series are both, I call it New Pulp. There's a greater New Pulp movement, and the idea is to recreate that old serialized, old like the publications that just have like short stories and like action
Hmm.
heroes. Um, the first one is Forsaken, as a dystopian fiction. Um, that newest issue came out today, and then I also have Ray Gunslinger. It's a cowboy who was frozen in time and then thawed out in the distant future. I always imagine it like a Western meets like Dune universe or something.
Hmm.
Um, so my ratings will be there. I'm gonna start doing more essays, like some nonfiction. I also have a podcast of my own. It's very specific. It's for Project Plus, the
Okay.
video game I play. That's P plus conversations. Of course, all this is like hard to say. Um, and then yeah, those are the main ways to see what I'm doing. And then I'm actually doing a music thing in town with the North Seattle Music Project.
Okay.
So early next year, I'll be performing live. They just have it's a time for people that are a little too busy to start a band to like play music together. And so I'm getting back to my musician roots because playing music makes me a lot better at writing and playing with people. Once again, like that's just a shared energy. So
Yeah.
shout out to the Seattle, North Seattle Music Project. But yeah, Comrade Sheridan and then P plus Conversations.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and I
Thank
hope
you.
you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, you too.
All right. Bye.